Are we live? Oh, voice, are we live? YouTube, come on. Yes, we're live. Welcome, December 2023, Professor Matthews. Ask me any question you want. Welcome to the chat. We'll talk Q&A. I'll give you recommendations. I better get back a little bit from here. We hit the 50,000 subscriber mark. I'm not sure what that really means. I guess it means to me it's halfway to 100,000. I mean, the 100,000 mark is when you get the YouTube plaque, and that will be fun to get when or if I ever get that. So thank you for subscribing, supporting the channel. In fact, if you want to participate more, the Discord is going strong. They were just talking about what is pure cinema on there yesterday. So check out the Discord. I got so many things going on. I've got up on the screen Substack. And I must tell you, I'm writing there. I'm enjoying it. And I don't even care who reads it or what happens to it. I think it's just fun. So if you want to subscribe to Substack, go ahead. That's a great place to donate as well if you ever want to donate. But one other thing for me, YouTube just did something amazing for me, which was, 5 minutes before this video, before the live stream, I got this email from YouTube saying, they're going to make it easier now to take members' videos and then make them public. And while you don't know what that means, it essentially means it is easy for me now to publish videos from members only and then set a date where then the whole public can see them. So now if you're a member of this channel, you can get many of my videos early. In fact, I just set 3 of them that are coming out over the next month so that members can now see them. So feel free. Sign up for the membership and you'll get my videos, my Oscar repicking video, repicking the Oscars from the 80s, and new movie reviews. This is what's going to be really great for me. I can now set new movie reviews to be early for members, but then on time, timing them for the search engines to go nuts for when they come out. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, fine. But membership is out there on YouTube. I honestly don't know what that means, really. But now you can at least get them early. I know what it means for you. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Look, Norway, India. We always get people from all over the world. It's fantastic. You enjoyed the chicken run review, yeah? If you want to count the dad joke puns in my chicken run review, I deliberately put about 10 in there. As you can see, the sequel processes everything. I do stupid things like that, and I don't tell you. So just so you know, I do have a lot of fun here. Okay, welcome. So we're going to go through Letterboxd. We're going to tell you a couple movies, just strange movies I've seen lately. But I should do a little bit of channel review. I hate navel gazing on channels. I don't do it at all here, but I might as well. I have done, like a maniac would do, 478 videos. I don't know what my problem is, but I keep churning them out. I guess because I like to do this. That's the only reason, I think. Because only a maniac would subject himself to, 1, not getting any views for a long time, and 2, movie channels are not magnets for happy people necessarily. And I say that because my wife, I will not name her yet, has a pretty good Instagram account. She's got a sizable following. She's also in the 5K numbers for followers and subscribers on Instagram. And she tells me that everybody on the internet is just a wonderful person. And they all love each other. That's her corner of the internet. My corner of the internet is I get people ragging on me all the time for mispronunciation and for fun mistakes. In my video on The Last Detail, the Jack Nicholson movie, I have no end of people telling me I said soldiers when I should have said sailors for these naval men. I get a lot of comments like that, and they're not very nice. So, anyway, a maniac would subject himself to making this many videos. But I've enjoyed it mostly, and I will keep doing it. There they are. And the thing about making videos is, if you look at this one, I never know when they're going to take off. I did not like the movie Napoleon. It had a lot of views. But I don't think it deserved it. I think this East of Eden video was way better. And I didn't get as many views. Not as many people searching for it. So, that's certainly why people were searching for Napoleon. But I think overall, there's some content I make. It's not great. It's okay. Some content I can make is very good. I think 10% of it would be very good. So I thought this East of Eden video was pretty good. And the 2001 video, I rewatched it. I learned something from myself. I forgot even what I said in it. And then I watched it. I thought, oh yeah, I could use this to remind myself of what I thought at one point in time, which is what I do on Letterboxd as well. When I write reviews, I really write to myself so I can remind myself. Anyway, enough talk about me. Let's deal with you, because really what this channel is to help you on your movie journey, to learn movies, to learn recommendations, to think more clearly about movies, to connect them to real-world topics. That's what I try to help you with. I am your Yoda. You are the Luke Skywalker on your own journey, and I am here to help you. So let's jump into my favorite streaming service, Criterion Channel. They give me nothing for promoting them, and yet I still like them. Although Max, formerly known as HBO Max, I don't know if you know this, they have signed a deal to have the entire A24 catalog. Max, A24. So the minute I heard that, I went and signed right back up for Max, because I want to see a lot of A24 movies that, frankly, I am not able to access unless I either rent them or find them through interlibrary loan. So I'm very happy about that. I didn't think the Max service was all that hot. It was okay. But I watched enough of their stuff and I didn't need the rest of it, so I quit it. But now I'm back on it, and I think they're coming out for A24, or the A24 catalog, I think in January. Not totally sure about that, but go check that out. I don't get promoted by them either, or paid anything by them. But Criterion, it would have been a marriage made in heaven if A24 and Criterion could have conjoined themselves. I don't know if they're actually rivals or competitors, frankly. But that would have been an awesome thing, wouldn't it? That just didn't happen. So now I unfortunately have 3 services. I wish I could only have 1, but whatever. What's leaving Criterion is a great place to look for recommendations. And I've actually made videos on Bram Stoker's Dracula and a few others down the list here. And there's always stuff that goes off and on the channel. So it seems like they have the rights to several of these or their own versions. And some of these, like Paprika, I have seen go on and off the channel at least twice now. I wonder if they're going to bring it back on or have their own disc. So I think sometimes you're going to see, even if it leaves the channel, you can get it again. My problem is there are a great number of movies. As I watch through 1980s movies, my latest project, I cannot find them. They're not streaming. They're not on disc readily available nearby. And so what I have to go through interlibrary alone, or hope I can procure a copy some way, shape, or form. It is nuts. We should have all movies available to us, but I will not rant about that. So I strongly recommend, if you haven't seen one of these and it's going off the channel, do it now or soon. We have a lot of great comments over here. I'm going to get to those in a minute. I look through this and I go, there's a lot of terrible stuff that's fun, like Electric Dreams is a very fun science fiction movie you never heard of. I thought that was pretty good, actually, from 1984. About a computer that comes alive. A nerd makes a computer that comes alive. Does he fall in love with it? I think that's what it is. Or the computer tries to fall in love with him. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff like that. If I were to recommend a few movies to anybody, I'm looking at this list. What would you recommend? That's the first question. Grand Illusion. I have a video on that. Jean Renoir. Great prison camp movie. Early prison camp movie. I think it's World War I, but very prescient about World War II because it's 1937. It's almost like feeling World War II coming. And it's a very good movie overall. It says, Criterion is saying right there, one of the first prison escape movies. I wonder what the history of prison escape movies is. I don't know. I did a whole video on my favorite prison camp movies, so go check that out. But I really like this movie. I always have. So there's that. I would definitely watch that one. If you've never seen it, you should watch it. The Island of Lost Souls, a very good movie. Pre-Hays Code, so it's got some exotic, racy stuff in it. It's based on H.G. Wells' novella, The Island of Dr. Moreau. And I really like that book. I'm fascinated by it, and I think this is a very good adaptation. In fact, my colleague who has an office right over there said to me yesterday he just watched it and he thought it was really good. Maybe he's even listening. But this is a good movie. Don't let the black and white or the date scare you off. This movie is used in the Jim Jarmusch movie Patterson from several years ago, maybe just a few years ago. It is prominently featured in that movie, so it still lives and is still good. I have not seen Written on the Wind. That is a crime and an error. So many directors are saying this is great. I have not seen it. I will watch it soon. So there's that. My Darling Clementine, watch it. Oh, whoops. John Ford does Wyatt Earp, and Henry Fonda plays the Wyatt Earp character in the famous OK Corral story. This has a nice, leisurely, cool pace to it. And it does not proceed like a normal Western. It almost feels digressive at times. I like that. It's not straightforward about the plot. You know where it's going to go, so then it seems to take its time over here and then over here. I've always loved this movie for 20 plus years. I just think it's excellent. And then Cronenberg is up here. Those of you who like him, I rewatched Videodrome recently and was not as thrilled with it as I was watching it about 10 years ago. I don't know why. I think the Marshall McLuhan material in it is as opaque as McLuhan's own writing, and that's the problem. Still, it has some visionary stuff in it. I suggest Existence over here from Cronenberg. I do like that movie. I've said that several times on the channel, though, so those of you who've been hanging out with me know that. A couple movies I haven't seen in about 20 to 30 years. And The Sting won an Oscar for Best Picture. Not bad. But I liked it as a kid, and I haven't seen it as an adult, so I really don't know. I will watch Abel Ferrara's Body Snatchers. I have not seen that one. And when you look at this list, you go, okay, there's enough on Criterion Channel to just last us a month. and then they have more stuff, and then it lasts a month. I talked about a number of movies on here. The Net. This is the one I want to rewatch because I have not seen it since 1994 or 5 when it came out. Some kind of early internet thriller. I want to see how dated this movie is. I'm sure she's using America Online. I'm sure the modem technology is hilarious. It will remind me of early internet because I was there. I was using it. And I'm very curious about it, so I'm gonna rewatch that too. I'll put that on the watch list. What do you guys think? Anything else on here you like? I'm gonna get to the chat because I want to deal with that. Although I think for a 50K subscriber celebration, I should talk up a few stupid movies I watched. Let's pull it up here. Yesterday. Found it, never heard of it. Why haven't I heard of this movie? Quest for Fire. Have you heard of this? I've scoured so many lists, so many 80s lists and so on, and finally I found it on some kind of, I was a best fantasy movies of the 80s list. It has a very high Rotten Tomatoes score. In fact, it's ridiculously high. The novelty of this movie, it's set 80,000 years ago. None of the characters obviously speak English. They're all depicted as proto-humans. And they're grunting and groaning through a, pre-modern world. a pre-civilized world. And yet they're doing one of those Pixar movie buddy adventure things where they have to go find fire. Their tribe loses the fire technology. They have a pit of burning fire. I don't even know. It says Cro-Magnon tribe. I don't think that's right. And they have this pit of fire. It goes out, and they have to go find new fire. It's a weirdo movie. It's a silent movie in its own way because people are just grunting and groaning through it. It looks like a gimmick or a put-on or a joke because it's a caveman movie, but it has some allure and appeal to it. The problem with it is Amazon Prime, it's ridiculous. They have I'll pull it up here. I can't show it, but I'll show you. Oh, not that. I gave it 2.5 stars, but it's still a very interesting movie. You see it has a Prime Video. Any sub on Amazon Prime can get it. But their version is a VHS tape. It's literally a 4:3 aspect ratio. I don't think the movie was that ratio. And then and then it looks like a VHS tape. And I was not going to watch it, but I tolerated it, and finally I got used to it. That was unkind on Amazon's part. I need to watch this movie in a better format, a crisp, perfectly updated format. You can see that some people like it. It is a weird movie. I thought it was interesting because it's a good experiment. And then what else? I've been watching Mystery Science Theater with my children. Several episodes. They like it. I've always liked it. It's one of my favorite shows ever. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Not just the update on Netflix, but the 1980s to 90s version on Comedy Central and the Sci-Fi Channel. These are the movies. If I circle them, hopefully you can see this. That we've watched several of them. They're ridiculous. Zot. You should watch this movie. It's not the actual name of it, Mystery Science Theater. What's it called? What's the Mystery Science? It's a different title in Mystery Science Theater. Look at the ratings, first of all. It's outstanding. This is one of the worst movies you can possibly watch. It is indescribable how amazingly bad this is. You can't make it a movie this bad if you tried. So I always enjoy that kind of thing. It's actually pretty instructive. No, Quest for Fire is on YouTube for free? Dang. In 4K? Now I'm disappointed. Why don't I just look on YouTube? Jeez. All right. Now, what else here? Conan the Barbarian. Somehow good. I don't know why. There was another one I was going to tell you about. That's ridiculous. I will never find it. Anyway, I'm promoting things. So With Nail and I don't think I talked about that. That's a fantastic movie. Everybody watching this video should watch this movie. Two guys having fun, but not having fun. I mean, it is an arresting, great movie. And I love that. Oh, I love that Letterboxd lets me change the poster because I just kind of like this cover art. I thought this was. It's not very crisp looking here, but it's a good looking thing that someone created on their own. All right, what the heck? I'll pull the Substack back up and deal with the chat. So thanks everyone, 50,000. It's great. Doing all right. What do I think of the Golden Globe nominations? Good job, Dr. David. Let me pull those up. And we will comment on those. Why not? This is a great opportunity to. I really glanced at them very quickly and did not think about them. I thought it was absolutely bizarre that May December was a musical comedy. Yeah, I understand that movie's unclassifiable. I understand it has a couple of laughs in it. The material is really dark in its own way, both in the depiction of the family and the horrible thing that went on with them, and then the way the actors treats them. And so I am not sure about that categorization at all. I really don't understand it. I can see why they would do it. Anyway, what do you think of that? Because I would have put it in the drama category, but again, they do the drama and they do the musical comedy thing, and I don't get that. Why not just nominate more comedies, for Best Picture, which the Oscars have always been terrible at. Truth be told, I have not seen most of these movies, and the reasons why is either they're not available to me, not out yet, they're not out in my local theaters, or once again, I have a distribution problem. I live in a rural place. Most of these movies do not come to theaters near me, including in the nearby bigger cities that are 150,000 people. I do not know why. Zone of Interest hasn't been out. Past Lives, I'm not sure that's out yet. Anatomy of a Fall, not out. So I'm tempted to do a video that rants about my local movie theater, but really about the movie studios that control movie theaters and how they keep, their distribution of movies. They're really ruining movies as an art form. by what they're doing, and more people need to know what's happening. So I might deal with that in a negative rant sort of video. Best director, screenplay. I don't know what to think. Oppenheimer and Flower Moon would have been on there. Barbie, I guess, because it did so well at the box office. I don't know. For the life of me, I have no clue why Air is there. It seems like a nod to whoever made it in the studio. I don't understand that one. And they're missing a bunch of good movies, in my opinion. And I might do a best of the year list. But Boy and His Heron should be on here and is not. So that's a crime. Miyazaki, best director. I mean, there's several like that. I've not seen Dream Scenario. I thought Beau Was Afraid was amazing. I'm in the minority on that. Fallen Leaves. I have almost no doubt that movie is pretty good. I have not seen it, though. So anyway, I don't know. Kieran Culkin got a nomination. That's good job, buddy. All right. Otherwise, I look at this list of actors, and my rant is always the same. Where are the young people at? Everybody on this list is old. Not necessarily a bad thing, but they're older than me. Except for a couple of them. Hollywood is terrible, and they're going to go down if they don't promote young actors. Throughout the entire history of movies, young celebrities, ages 20 to 35. We don't have those. There are very few of them, at least, and it's not good for the American movie industry to not have them, and they are going to have a big problem soon if they don't already now. Yes, that's a Criterion mug. I am not promoting them. I just got it. It's part of my mug collection. Donnie Draco, I'm just randomly... I don't review or recommend action movies. That's probably been true. I think YouTube has covered that stuff pretty well. My thing when I first started was there weren't a lot of videos that I could find on older classic movies. And there's a reason for that. They don't get a lot of hits. If a channel is established, dare I name names, if Nerdwriter did a video on something from 1948, he's going to get a lot of hits because of who he is. But in general, channels that are not well known are not going to get a lot of hits if they do older things. I actually like them, and I wanted to promote them. And frankly, I just work on what I enjoy working on. So I do older things sometimes. I do things that are unusual. Action movies, not so much. But I will tell you something. I just rewatched Con Air. I thought it was fantastically cheesy and fantastic. So I might do something on that or other things like it. Quite honestly, it's not a bad idea. So, Donnie, I love action movies, good ones, and I might do more on that. All right. Bjorn, that's not your name, Bjornar? Sorry, I know you're from Norway and you participate here. You saw Missing. Yeah, that's a pretty good movie. Oscar nominated about 1982. Hard to find for me, but I finally found it. I thought it was pretty good too. So yeah, I agree. That is a worthwhile movie to go check out if you're interested in the subject matter. Being a cinephile can be a lonely hobby. You know it. There's very few people around me who know the movies that I know, which is all good and fine if you're a specialist. If you know, if you're into 1950s movies. Very few people are doing that in my circles. Now, if you're in a big city, you might have people nearby or a local club, but whatever. It is a lonely hobby. That's why we have the internet. Kit Katsy is right. You're a haven for non-rage bait content. Exactly. I have eschewed rants. I did a video this summer. I ranted about the French Connection's missing scene. I thought that was worthy to bring up to people's attention. It got a ton of traffic. And my point of view was I was a little disgusted by that because you know what? All of these algorithms are promoting fear and anger. And while that can be okay for the right thing, you need to direct fear and anger to the right place, that's fine. But overall, for movies, I don't think so. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you. I haven't seen Godzilla -1. Not had time to do so. I will definitely see that. That is my kind of thing. I have a kid who likes that fare. It is... I wish it came to local theater. It didn't. Where would you consider Akira Kurosawa all-time? Top 5. Absolutely. Favorite A24 film? A24 film. I'd have to look at a list. You know, Everything Everywhere comes to mind. I thought that was a fantastic experience in theaters. I watched it a second time. It held up. I enjoy the heck out of that movie as a spoof on popular quantum physics and as having fun with other movies. The infinite number of movie quotes in that, you'll just live a lifetime and never see them all. So I just thought it was a lot of fun. A movie about things I haven't seen before, too. You know, the surprises in that movie are fantastic. I know a number of people don't like it or did a backlash against it because it became so popular. It won a Best Picture Oscar. I simply don't care. I think it's an outstanding movie. So that's the one I remember, but and Sound of Metal is the one I go back to because I like to teach it. I think it's a fascinating movie in a number of ways. So I like that one too. But A24 has made so many great movies. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Favorite action adventure from each decade? The 20s would be Speedy, with Harold Lloyd and Speedy. Go watch that. That is a manic, awesome movie. 30s, I don't know. Maybe King Kong. That's a tough one for the 30s. You're really stumping me, though, because the 40s lost about 3 or 4 years, as you know, and the big budget action pictures then. God, I can't even think of one. That's tricky. You know, the 50s and 60s have a number of them, and who couldn't like most of the recommended ones, like Great Escape, something like that. There are so many questions here. What am I going to do? Brainstorm is worth a watch. I agree. Brainstorm is a wild movie in its depiction of virtual reality and its relationship to the entire universe. And it's Christopher Walken in it. I would not say it's a good movie in some ways, but 1984, Douglas Trumbull did it, who did the special effects on 2001. It's going to be 2001 like a touch of 2001 likeness to it. And it is relevant because of virtual reality. I was advertised VR goggles the other day, and me and my kids looked them up. Facebook, Metaverse, whatever. They're doing the things that are happening in that movie, which that movie is 40 years old now. So Brainstorm, absolutely. God, there's so many. The more I sit on The Boy and the Heron, the more I think it's a masterpiece. I haven't seen that many people praise it, but I haven't looked that hard. I thought that movie was absolutely fantastic. And the thing it helps to have my background, I suppose, my reading background and my knowledge base. Miyazaki seems to know a lot about a lot. And he's able to weave that into his movies so seamlessly that you don't notice it unless he doesn't say, hey, I'm referring to Homer's Odyssey. Hey, I'm referring to Alice in Wonderland over here. He doesn't do that at all. Now, in the movie, he did reference a book, which I have not read. I think it's a Japanese book. But other than that, unless you're very, very familiar with what he's familiar with, you just sort of go with his sort of surreal vision, and it's one thing after another for him. But I thought that movie had a lot of the never-ending story in it. Michael Enda's great book, it's turned into an 80s movie. Kids 80s movie, but the book is fantastic. I thought he was riffing on that to some extent, and picking up on that was really fun. That and the Odyssey, the way he wove those in, I thought was amazing, and it was a fantastic movie experience. I don't get a surfeit of imagination people thought it was like Spirited Away, or it was like a ripoff of Spirited Away, and I thought that was not a good viewing of the movie. It's a totally different thing. It's a World War II movie. It's explaining World War II from a Japanese perspective, and for Miyazaki as a kid, that's what he went through, the aftermath of World War II. I thought it was the self wound of the kid and the way that was handled was fantastic. And I thought it was not necessarily like his other movies, although it had slivers and snippets of that. So I agree. To me, it's probably my favorite movie of his. And the only I can't say that you should like it too. You know, I feel like that's a subjective opinion entirely on my part. Like, if you like Spirit Away or Totoro, I never got into Totoro, but my kids absolutely were hypnotized by it. And I think you have to be younger. I wish I could see it through younger eyes. But I like Castle in the Sky, Nausicaa and the Valley of Wind, and Boy and the Heron. What else? Oh, gosh, Mononoke. I liked Ponyo, weirdly enough. I mean, I find myself attached to some of his movies really strongly, and others not so much. And I think that's what happens to people. So there you go. Anyway, blah, blah, blah. Kit Katsy finished watching every Godzilla movie. How are you alive? After about the third one, cheese and more cheese and guys in dinosaur suits hitting guys in dragon suits. There's a couple fun, really cheesy ones, but I mean, you got to go in with another person making fun of them to have a lot of fun with that. Oh, now Owen asks a good question. I think this is a good one for everybody. Do you go into movies blind, or will you brief yourself beforehand? So how do you go into movies? Now, I've heard that people like to watch trailers, and that gets them fired up to go see a movie. Perfectly fine to do that. I myself do exactly the opposite. I want to know as little as possible. I might know what the movie is about topically, and I might know who's in the movie and who made the movie. And if I know those things, that's all I need to know. The Holdovers, for example, I know that Alexander Payne made that. I don't want to know anything else about it. I will go see it. I've seen all of his movies. I think he's an excellent artist. That's all. So if you know the director, if you know the actors, if you know the composer, etc., I mean, why else? Why watch the trailer? I like to go in being surprised. And I'm going to keep saying that probably now for several years, because the thing I'm not really hit on it, but I think that's a key in film criticism is if the movie you're watching is like what you've seen before, but has a lot of surprises in it, and so that has some newness to it, and that's delightful usually. And so Boy and His Heron did that. Beau is Afraid definitely did that to me. And so I want to know as little as possible. Absolutely. If I go to a movie theater and there are trailers before a movie, I will not watch them. I will be on my phone looking at that. Because I try not to watch trailers at all. Kurosawa, when asked to give advice to aspiring filmmakers, replied that writing scripts and reading Russian literature is essential. Yeah, Herzog says that he was asked his advice, Werner Herzog, from filmmakers, and he said his reply was this: read, 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 read. Which is weird because you would think it's watch, 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 listen, listen, listen. But he's right, because you need to start with the script, and a director needs to be able to interpret a script. So you have to be a good reader. And that means you have a base of reading of all kinds of literature, and new or old. So yes, my opinion as a literature professor is filmmakers ought to read. They ought to be familiar with a number of topics, a little bit of philosophy, a little bit of religion. They ought to know what they're getting into when they interpret a script. And even choosing scripts, first of all, or writing them themselves. So you can kind of tell who has read books, a wide range of books, and who hasn't when you watch a movie. And it tends to be that the people I don't talk about on this channel, I think, are not as good and as rich as they could be because they're not really readers. Scorsese, he's obviously a very well-read man. Extremely well-read, probably for a filmmaker. So I would agree with him, and Kurosawa certainly was too. Around what age do you recommend having children start watching movies? Oh, gosh. My experience is about 7. I mean, before that, before that, they can watch certain things that are sort of primal and elemental, but they're going to be missing so much, I'm not sure it's worth the time. 5 years old, I suppose 5 years old, anything before 5, I'm not sure they're getting anything out of it. I'm not sure they remember anything. And that's just me shooting the breeze. Like, I don't have no knowledge of childhood development other than my own children, the children I've witnessed. 5-year-old can watch Star Wars and kind of like it. Depends on the kid, of course. Why, do you have kids? Yeah. Oh, I like this comment. I watch a lot of YouTube reviewers, and you're by far... Okay, this is the 50,000 subscriber comment. And you're by far the most unpredictable one. Really. Usually I can find what someone's take will be based on years of watching them. With you, I have no idea. It could be 1 star or 5. I have no idea why I'm unpredictable. I think I am... I've not thought about that. I like what I like, and then I don't know. I was surprised I loved Boy and the Heron. I haven't loved all the Ghibli movies lately. I think some of them are good. Some of them are fine. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree that Ghibli movies are good for young people. I don't... There's most of them... Maybe Mononoke is a little a little older, but I think kids will like any Ghibli movie. Is Wonka... Now that Wonka is coming out, you say it's a musical written by AI. Really? Now, I was under the impression the Paddington guy, Paul... What's his name? I don't know it offhand, but Paddington, Paul King. There. He's doing Wonka. And that has supercharged people in my circles because they love the Paddington movies. So he's doing Wonka. He wrote and directed it. So how could it be written by AI? What do you think about that? I am completely in on, as you know from Substack, I wrote this little article based on my experience this semester with grading papers from students. And it is super clear to me that anybody who has one brain cell, an IQ of above 50, can now produce very good prose and not even know it. So middling to poor students anywhere can now produce well-written prose. What will that mean? People who don't know what they're doing can produce good scripts. Eventually, maybe. And so I think you and I will not know what was written by AI in a movie script. So that comment you just made about AI, Wonka being an AI script, I think we're pretty close to not knowing if a computer or pattern recognition machine, AI, had some involvement in writing these things. And I hope what I did on my Substack is I said, I'm going to make a disclaimer. No AI tools are used to write these Substacks ever. Just so you know, I do it myself. I don't know if anybody cares. I don't know if this is the thing that will sell something, but I feel like you and I will not know real soon who is responsible for a script. Even if a human is named on it, that human could easily have generated it, some of it, from pattern recognition machines, which are now so good that very poor writers, people who cannot use punctuation and do not know how to use punctuation properly, can create professional level pros. That doesn't mean that the content is great. That doesn't mean that it has good thinking. It means it reads as if a professional writer handled the material. And so honestly, most journalism, which is not good thinking necessarily, will come straight out of AI. The Sports Illustrated scandal where Sports Illustrated was creating AI articles and fake humans and putting fake names on articles, that's only going to increase by 100,000 fold. So I am not necessarily worried about AI. I think it's a tool, but the question, of course, it's a classic question: will we be the tools of our tools, or will we be the masters of the tools? So I watched your review of Stalker. You're the only reviewer who had the same opinion of the movie that I had. Everyone else did nothing but praise it. I never got hypnotized by Stalker. I got hypnotized by nostalgia, by the sacrifice. Tarkovsky is great in so many ways, and then I watched a Stalker and just am underwhelmed. So the massive question that you should solve if you're a neuroscientist interested in literature and film is, why are some people smitten with a movie and other people aren't? And why are some movies so arresting that most people are sort of hypnotized by them, but a few others aren't? I have no idea. So that's a great neuroscience project. In fact, go ahead and steal it from me and go write your dissertation on that. I have no doubt that is possibly a huge field of study. Yeah. You really think the Fast and Furious movies are written by AI? I think they have a formula. Now, probably you're right. They're either generated or smoothed out by the AI that has a formula. Marvel's had a formula for a long time. Here's the exact point in the movie where you need something to happen, a certain kind of thing to happen. Build up a scene dramatically, and then here's where you insert a joke for levity. Here's where this very sort of chord structure should be played in the score. I mean, they have that down. And it's not going to work for long because people are going to get sick of the same thing over and over again, I think. But they have a formula, and I don't know if Fast and Furious does either. How do you spot students using ChatGPT? You don't. It's over. The AI detectors are not competent at detecting. And there's software programs where you can generate ChatGPT script, you run it through these other programs, and they will sort of filter out and smooth it out so that no detector can detect it. The AI is an offensive thing, and it's outpacing the defensive things, the detectors, by a lot. And in the long run, offense always beats defense. So right now, the AI exponentially is growing by ability level. You cannot detect them. That is why I am not assigning any more take-home writing assignments ever again, or until I know that I can determine whether someone has used AI to generate some or all of their writing or not. Because right now, I can't tell. I have suspicions, I have probabilities, but I can't tell for certain. And there's no way to tell. And that's what I'm telling you. Nothing you read on the internet, you can tell whether it's generated by AI. And I think that's going to be true for scripts to some extent. Whether that's good or bad is up, or indifferent, neutral is up for you to decide. I'm just saying, I know that's the case. Totally confident in that, saying that. God, there's more questions here. You guys should go to Discord and ask me questions. Discord now is still a small, local, sort of virtual community that I know everybody there, at least by their profile and what they like to talk about. So I think that's fun there. Go ahead and ask your questions over there. I am not excited for Dune 2 because the question is, are you excited for Dune 2? Aren't there going to be 3 Dune movies? Jeez. 3? Oh, we'll do... Okay, there we go. Yeah, there's going to be a trilogy. I thought that's the case. So I'm not excited at all. In fact, I'm going to have to go pay money to see a sliver of it once again. I did not like the first movie because it was just like... It said Dune, but it clearly was Dune Part 1, and they didn't tell you. And then the story ended, and there's like 2/3 of it to go. I was the only one to complain about that, I thought. Good grief. I'll end with this question. It's all good. Do I think superhero movies... Wait, where is that? Do you think superhero movies are having their downfall, or do you think there are more? There is a very good article. I probably won't be able to find it that quick. Let's... where is it going to be? Let me look. Oh, let me go over here and do it. There is a very good article that shows the trends in movies from the beginning and the popularity of certain kinds of characters and when they became popular and when they died off. Yeah, this is going to take a while to find. Yeah, I probably won't find it. So if you looked at this graph, you could see, okay, in this era, the Western and the cowboys were the number one kinds of characters. And then over here, the spies in spy movies like James Bond. And then they come and they go and they die away. And I think we might be in the latter part of that bar chart for superheroes. Just given that they're not doing as well. We'll see if Aquaman coming out in December does well, but at some point, there's going to have to be something new. But everybody knew that already, I think. And I'd have no idea what's going to replace it. Probably something so wild that I will probably not like it very much. Probably something weird and wild. Yeah. Well, thank you for 50,000 subscribers for showing up here and for all of your support. Whatever your support is just click on videos and watch them. Thank you. It's awesome. Substack, etc. But it's all good for me. So we'll keep going with this. Oh, and if you're a member, you didn't hear this. You're a member, you will get my new videos earlier. Go ahead and sign up for that. I don't really know how it works because I'm not a member, but you should be one because then you get my stuff early. And it supports the channel. Anyway, thank you very much. I appreciate your viewing and all your comments. Take care. Have a great day and a great month.